Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this open discussion. Srilata is new here. So, Srilata, okay, you're joining us for the second time. Mm, I guess you're also aware of how these conversations work. This is going to be an open discussion. We all can share our stories, experiences, and questions here openly. And whatever you want to talk about this topic, we will talk about it. So today's topic is mindfulness versus mindfulness. So when we use the term mindfulness, what comes to you? How do you perceive this term? Anybody would like to share? Go ahead. So it can be anything, just in very simple terms, how you feel about this term, how you think about this. So it can be just anything. So you can unmute yourself and start talking.
Hi. I think mindfulness is about being in the present moment and focusing only in the present moment.
Right. Yes. And in the present moment, is there anything specific we focus on or just everything?
One could focus on whatever one likes. It's customary to focus on the breath, I guess. So when I was in university, a student session for mindfulness in the lunch break, and for 1 hour we used to practice mindfulness, like being in the moment, and we used to have some specific prayer which I have lost now. Yeah, but yeah, it's all about being in the present moment, because in the present moment there is no stress. When you think about the past or the future, there usually is stress, but if you are in the current moment and you're focusing on breath, or noticing your thoughts as an observer, then usually, or there should be no stress if you are doing it properly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I just found a bit funny and ironical when you said that um, there was a prayer we focused on, and then I forgot the prayer. So I was just smiling on that.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Now you were saying that mindfulness is about focusing in the moment, and then you said today we were doing or we did that, and we were focusing on the breath, and then there was a prayer that we were doing, and then you said I forgot the prayer.
Yeah, and we used to do that for 1 hour, focusing in the moment. It was really funny, but it was very relieving. Amazing experience.
Hmm, great. Um, I think Seema typed something. Mindfulness is the ability to be fully present, um, aware of where we are and what we are doing, and not overly reactive or overwhelmed. Right? Mm, by what's going on around us. Okay. Thanks, Seema. Who else would like to say what do you understand by the word mindfulness? Srilata, Soumya, Kavita, Srilata. Yeah, go ahead, Srilata. You can unmute yourself and talk.
Hi, according to me, I think being aware of what you're doing at the present, and now also during this call, when you people were talking, my mind was racing behind whatever was being told. I was not being present. Whatever was being told, I kept on thinking about all those things. So it is
Okay.
important to be in the present, and sometimes maybe breathing, it helps in being mindful of what is going around us. And
Yeah.
also I think meditation helps in this thing, being mindful. and
Right.
clearing the clutter of the mind also comes in this. And I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I'm just saying whatever is coming to my mind right now.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what we want to know. Whatever is coming to your mind is what we want to know.
Yeah. So keeping our mind as clean as possible and as empty as possible will allow us to be present and being being in the now. Just be. That is
Hmm.
what I understood by that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sridhar. Thanks. Other people are there. Kavita, Rashi, Priyadarshini, Soumya, Lali. Would you like to share what do you understand by the term mindfulness?
Like it may I speak, please?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Um, Basically, mind is a lot of thoughts. So mindfulness means we have less of thoughts. It's a bit complicated for people who have not, if one has not explored, but that's actually most accurate description I feel. So mm, the more we enjoy something, the more we are more focused and we have less thoughts. For now, I'll say that and give others a chance. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Ravi. Yes, Ashwin, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought this term was kind of self-explanatory, like you are in the moment and you're mindful of everything, but not involved in anything. You're just focusing on your breath or whatever, or not focusing at all. I think mindfulness is not about being focused on anything. It's like meditation. You're not trying. You're just being in the moment. You're just being mindful of whatever is happening around you, inside you. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Ashwin. Rashi, you want to say something about it? Soumya?
Okay, I think like mindfulness is being aware of your present surroundings and you are aware what you are doing. I think that's what I'm understanding.
Okay. Okay. Great. Um, so Srilatha was saying earlier that while she was um, on the call, there was something going on in the background. So then, based on what we have heard so far, is that mindfulness or not mindfulness?
I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand.
You mentioned earlier when you were talking that while you were on the call, there were things going on in the background, and you were distracted by that.
Yes.
So would we call that still we call that mindfulness, or we won't call that mindfulness?
No, we won't call that mindfulness because for me, I'm
Okay.
a very overthinker. So the
Okay.
speed of my thoughts is very high. And being
Okay.
present in this call, I will have to put my effort into being mindful.
Okay. What do you
The
think, Ashwin?
effortless.
Is this mind? Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Sridhar. You complete what you're saying,
I
Sridhar.
Yeah, I feel like effortlessly being mindful will come to a point when we are already, put a foundation. down there. Be it meditation, be it grounding yourself, be it removing all the thoughts which are not serving the purpose. Whatever has been past, letting it go, and then the effortless mindfulness will come then. Until then, uh, our mind is always trying to run somewhere, is always trying to jump from one thought to another, and maybe being mindful of that also is important.
Okay. I'll ask you one question, but before that, I want to ask Ashwini. Ashwini, what do you think? Is this mindfulness or not?
It is because she is also listening to the conversation that is going on in the background, and she's also listening to the conversation that we are having. So, yeah, she's being mindful of everything. Unless she is, sort of, I don't know, in mindfulness, there is no resistance to anything that is happening. So, yeah, this is also happening, that is also happening. You're listening to both. So, why should you resist anything? Let it happen, and you just go with the flow. According to me,
Hmm.
this is still okay with mindfulness. As long as you don't let
Hmm.
any of the conversations affect you as such, or you get distracted from one thing to another and then not able to focus on that thing. um, I think this is mindfulness even now.
So if she does get distracted by all that, then you will say then that is not mindfulness.
If it needs attention, then that is fair enough. If it is some then she I guess this is confusing. But because now I find it funny that for one whole hour we focused in one moment. That itself I find funny.
I was
Uh,
going to ask this question to 𝗕𝗹𝗿 and everyone, same thing, that then what is the difference between focus and mindfulness? Why do we have two different words then?
because mindfulness is not being focused, it is just lack of any resistance. You are listening to the background sounds, you're listening to everything that is happening around you. You're just being mindful that you have to remain in the moment, or whatever is happening you have to let it go, uh, as in not get entangled into it. So that is mindfulness. You're just mindful of whatever is happening and you're separate from it. Whereas being focused is you are focusing on something and there's effort involved. That is not there in mindfulness, as far as I understand.
Hmm.
Thanks.
Okay. 𝗕𝗹𝗿, what do you think? What is the difference between focus and mindfulness? Yes, Lali, I see your hand is up. We'll come to you. So whoever wants to speak, just put your hand up and then we'll go one by one. 𝗕𝗹𝗿, yes, can you answer the question? What is the
Uh,
difference between focus and mindfulness?
I actually agree with Ashwini. Whatever she was saying, maybe it's like a light bulb moment for me now. Because when you're focusing on something particular, you want to get that accomplished, maybe focus will come into picture then. I think
Hmm.
mindfulness should be part of our everyday and every moment. It's not like I'll be mindful now and then for half an hour I'll let it go. It's not like that. You have to be mindful all the time. Only then you can experience the life as it is. And focus, I think, yeah, when you want to get something done and you need your concentration over there, then focus comes into picture. According to me, this is what I feel.
Hmm. So then in that case, focus and mindfulness are two different things.
I don't know. I'm just saying what I felt.
Hmm. So what was the light bulb moment for you?
She was saying like resistance should not be there. So I
Hmm.
agree with that. So when you're being mindful, there must not be any resistance. Okay, I'm gonna do this only, I'm gonna do that only. There's nothing like that in mindfulness. Everything is part of you. Everything around you is going on as it should, and you are just being
So
there.
so the conclusion from that would be that then focus and mindfulness are not the same thing, right?
According to me, they are not.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yes, Lali. You want to say something?
Yes. Earlier, I had said mind is our is made up of our thoughts. Now, I say that mindfulness is basically your shraddha on one thing, because every second that moment passes. So from moment to moment, if we can keep our shraddha meaning our focus on our focus, then that is mindfulness. It's basically keeping our shraddha. So we have to work on that, and uh, by practice, we increase the shraddha. That is mindfulness. So that takes a lot of practice, and it has to also to do with our energies, food, and everything. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Lindy.
I wanted to share something, an analogy. So I was just listening to the conversation. So this thought came suddenly that, okay, the footballer who has got full focus to make a goal, that could be called focus. And, even though that person is surrounded by so many cacophony or noise in the background, that doesn't distract that footballer in order to achieve that goal. So similarly, I feel that mindfulness, you focus on one thing, you're not thinking too much about the outcome or the result, and you're being aware of every senses, the senses of your smell, thought, sight. You kind of activate by being in that zone. Similarly, when we are listening to the call, that there was this conversation that there are a lot of communication gaps happen when people don't listen properly, or if they don't hear out. So listening also requires mindfulness or focus. So I'm also quite confused that am I whatever my understanding, was it correct or not? Mindfulness doesn't has any result. You're just being in the flow. Focus, you're focusing on one thing for a result or something like that. So that were my quick thoughts to share.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Soumya. Rashmi, you have your hand up.
Yes. So I
Yes.
mindful.
Oh, which Rashmi? Okay.
Okay. So I
Yes,
think like
Rashi, I'll come
mindfulness
back to you
is
after Rashmi.
okay. Okay.
Thank you. So, I don't know, this may sound a little funny, but just now a plate of samosas, like I ordered samosas from Harsh Dhaba, तो वो आ गए हैं अभी, right? For me, when I take the samosa and I eat it and I just enjoy the crunch, the soft potatoes inside it, मेरे मुंह में अभी से ही पानी आ रहा है. I haven't even touched the samosa. And when I really,
Mm.
right, when I really enjoy the essence of the entire thing and I'm just one with the whole experience, I think for me, that is mindfulness with a single L. And otherwise, if I go on to the process of ये ठीक है, complete focus कि भैया ये कैसे बने हैं, इसके angles ठीक है कि नहीं, crispy कितना है, क्या डाला होगा, and the entire process and trying to bring the outcome कि ऐसा होना चाहिए, right? This is how the ideal samosa should be. I think for me that is focus, because there is a specific outcome that I'm actually looking for in the entire experience. I don't know, I may be wrong.
Okay.
मैं बस
Okay.
ये बोलने वाली थी कि वो समोसे जैसे आप एक्सप्लेन कर रहे थे, तो मतलब मेरे भी मुंह में पानी आ गया. नॉट जस्ट यू.
Mm.
मेरे तो सामने
Mm.
समोसा भी नहीं है. Yeah.
Rashi, you
Let's
were
listen to
before.
Rashi. Yeah.
Okay. So I think like mindfulness is like I'm aware that background noise is there. So, things are going on in my house, and I'm on the call also. So that is mindfulness, that I'm aware. And if I'm just concentrating on the call, then that is my focus. That I'm just concentrating there.
Right. Rashmi, your hand is still up. You want to say more?
Sorry, no, no, no.
Okay, okay, okay. Yes, Ananta, you go ahead.
Hmm. Right. So, um, when we use the term mindfulness, of course, it has one L, and the other one, mindfulness, has like double L. So the word itself pertains that just fully being in the present moment, right? And we have had conversation about this only. Now, when you are completely fully present in the present moment, aware of what's going on within you, in your sensory perception, aware of what's going on in outside of you, in your environment. So does that mean that it's a no thinking state, like there are no thoughts, or there are thoughts in this state?
There are thoughts. Thoughts come and go. It's like putting a TV on. There is something going on the TV all the time, but you can switch it off anytime, and it's not the true thing. So it's like mindful. It's called mindfulness meditation, actually. So thoughts come and go, but you don't focus on them, and you know that this is like a TV. You can switch it off anytime, or at some point you may be able to really have zero state, like no thoughts at all, if you're lucky, like for a fraction of a moment or with practice more.
Can you not be mindful without meditation? Do you
Yes,
need
we can.
meditation to be mindful?
No, it can be like a constant state of being. That's the goal,
Right.
actually.
So maybe Akarma, when we are sitting in a room full of people, and so supposing I'm like being mindful, just trying to explain through my example, and so I can be mindful of my thoughts and focus on a particular thing in the sense that even if it is like so many people around me, I can disconnect and meditate with my open eyes. Does that make any sense?
And what would you be meditating on at that time?
So, supposing what I'm saying, that sometimes we sit down and meditate, but once we are consistent in practicing our mindfulness, one doesn't need to close the eyes and sit in a particular place to be in a meditative mode. One can be in a meditative mode by being mindful and focus. And maybe if one is like feeling little disconnected with the atmosphere around in the room full of paper, so you can just be in that state. So now it is making any sense?
Seema, not to make
Yes.
light of what you're saying, but in boring meetings, I'm not necessarily meditating, but I'm completely disconnected.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
that's what I wanted
Seema,
to say.
your okay. Seema, last 10 seconds, whatever you said, we didn't hear. So, mm,
Oh, okay. No, I said so maybe mindfulness, what I was trying to say, if I start practicing mindfulness meditations and I start becoming consistent and start becoming aware what mindfulness is all about. So, when we sit in a room where I feel little disconnected with the people or something, I don't need to be closing my eyes and doing meditation, but being mindful and focus on my thoughts. I can even be very calm and composed in a complete chaotic atmosphere around me because I'm being mindful of my thoughts and I'm aware at the same time being present and focused. So that is what I wanted to
mm,
share.
One thing I would like to add to this, it will not impact you only if you are equanimous. Hmm. So awareness, um, awareness and equanimity cannot, of course, be separated. But awareness still is just the first pillar of, being in that state, in that continuous state. So for you to be calm in that environment, you'll have to add on equanimity. As if, there was somebody who used the word being an observer or witness. So things coming and passing, things, emotions coming and passing, thoughts coming and passing, sensations coming and whatever, breath coming and going away. So everything that is happening inside, outside, both coming and going away, you're observing it and you have no judgment for that. So that brings us to the point of, wholesome awareness. Otherwise, the nature of mind is such that if you're not equanimous, it will get entangled. So with awareness, equanimity is like its sister, always walking with it, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
thank
yeah, right. Now it's not a no thought state. It can have thoughts, but okay. Let me ask this question in a different way. Can you think and be mindful at the same point of time?
I guess, yeah. I mean, see, mind is something that even whether we are thinking or not, several thoughts keeps coming and going. And so if I'm thinking, but at the same time I'm being mindful of what the thoughts are coming, I think we can do both simultaneously. At least I think like that.
Hmm. Right, right. So I won't be answering this. I mean, if anybody wants to answer this, yeah, or share what they feel, they can. But this is a really good activity to observe, when you're like actively thinking, and then at the same point of time, how mindful you are. Is it possible to be mindful of, you know, everything that is going around, or even going inside you? Try it out.
It seems to be very chaotic because that's what I'm saying in the sense that, yeah, several thoughts are coming, and it's like an alien language. We are saying, oh, being mindful. How can we be mindful? But so if I'm having so many thoughts in one go, but I can be mindful of what is the dominant thought, or maybe what is like I'm thinking why, because so many things are happening, and like we're picking up all the thoughts from here and there. Maybe my mind is also creating many thoughts inside, outside, whatever is happening. So yeah, we can be mindful about it, surely. Maybe sometimes we can consciously, sometimes we cannot, because I think it is also again comes with the practice that I'm being not only aware, but um, because mindfulness is all about being aware and present, right? So yeah, that's what I think I would like to know from others also.
Yeah. Anybody else would like to add anything to this? Have you ever tried doing this?
Can I share my example
Hmm.
for this?
Sure.
So I was in a relationship with somebody, and we are in a place where we cannot ignore like being publicly sometimes meeting. So over there, my mind starts, it will start creating thoughts where it is like so angry, at the same sad. So many thoughts will keep coming. So what I started noticing, and maybe this is mindfulness, that I started learning this, that because I'm seeing, so things are happening and other things are also happening. So I became mindful in a way that I couldn't disconnect, but I was very much aware that what is happening is just a reaction, because it's just that I don't like him anymore, and I don't like. I mean, there are some emotions inside which are coming. There are things sometimes we are able to say it to people, sometimes we are not in that position. But I was aware very much and mindful that, oh, it's coming out of because of seeing him in front of me gives me a reaction. So I don't know if works out as a mindful example, but this is what I wanted to share.
Okay.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
Hmm. Right. So, so there was one question which was coming to my head. So, when we use the word thoughts and when we use the word thinking, so are they the same? When we are saying thoughts are coming, or when we say that I am thinking, are they the same thing or different? What's the difference in them?
I I think I think when I'm saying I'm thinking, so means I'm actually trying to think a particular thing. When I say thoughts, thoughts can be endless, and definitely it can be like at the same time I can have thoughts about somebody else, about my son, about what is happening in this meeting, what people are saying. Many thoughts can come. But when I say I'm thinking, I'm focused. I'm focused on thinking at a particular thing. So that's what.
Hmm. I guess Lily dropped out of the call, but when she was explaining mindfulness, she gave this analogy that there are less and less thoughts. And I kind of connect with that because the more mindful you become, when you are totally in the present moment, slowly, there will be thoughts, of course, in the beginning when you're practicing mindfulness, when you're becoming mindful. There will be tons of thoughts to be cleared out, like the karmic debt we all carry within us. So a lot of thoughts, maybe thoughts of like 30 years of your whole life, thoughts of what happened during the day 1 week ago, all of it burdened over you. But so those are the thoughts which keep repeating, incessantly in your psyche all the time. But as you keep practicing, it keeps coming down and down and down, and you reach to the point where you're mindful of what's happening and what's going on inside outside, and you uh, you are thinking only limited to what is required to be thought in the situation, what needs to be done. So doesn't mean that we stop thinking completely, but that thinking in itself becomes very conscious, very much what is kind of required to be thought, what is necessary to be thought of. And we do that. We still get things done. We are working and we think of making tea. So that's there, but it's not incessant. So we cannot eliminate thoughts per se, eliminate thinking per se, but it's not the same way when we used to be, the mind is completely um, in the past, or completely it has gone to the future somewhere, like jumping from one tree to another like a monkey mind. So the monkey mind has purified and become a more grounded mind, which is there, right? So mindfulness, actually, when we are talking about mindfulness, it sounds more like mindlessness to me, because we are not doing any incessant thinking. It's it's like we are thinking only what is necessary. So, of course, as we become more and more mindful, the thoughts lessen. And there also comes a point where it's like It's like this observer in you doesn't go away and doesn't leave you at all. It's like everything that you think, it's observing it all the time, except maybe when you are sleeping. And yeah, maybe there is a time, I don't know, when when you can be aware of it during your sleep as well, or maybe when you're dreaming as well. But at least in the waking state, that is a good state to be in, where you're able to, simply see, okay, this thought came out of nowhere and it's just running in my head and then it went away. So those are the thoughts. But when it comes to thinking, being mindful, we are thinking what is necessary to be thought of, what is necessary to be done. Okay, I need to do my work. Maybe I need to cook. Maybe I need to do whatever. So it becomes more about the present moment, about the present day, about maybe, doing something at work or at home, wherever. So that's how my experience has been with it. So does it make sense?
Definitely, it makes sense because, yeah, exactly. So, mindfulness is not just being aware, it's being there in the present moment where maybe millions or millions thoughts will be there, but you are not getting carried away with those thoughts, but just being there. And maybe the focus when we were talking, so yeah, it's at the same time focusing in the present, not like wandering around, but being there. Uh, in the present moment and let the thoughts pass through because you cannot control the thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. Srilata, you raised your hand, but before you say something, I wanted to, highlight a
Yes.
point you had said before. And you had said that when you're mindful, that you're not mindful, and that's a great place to be in as well. And that is mindfulness too. And I really loved that point.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because
I would
it's
like,
yeah. Please go ahead.
no, please go on.
Yeah, because I was just saying, in the beginning of your journey when you are becoming mindful, so it's like, you catch yourself. Like every single time, for an
Yes.
example, people use the word breath. It can be breath or it can be any meditation object. For an example, your sensations or your breath, or maybe what else? Your emotions or anything that's happening in the present moment. Any of it can be a meditation object. And because that meditation object cannot exist anywhere else other than the present moment, the moment you wander away and you come back, remind yourself, oh shit, I was supposed to be focusing on my breath, and then what the heck am I thinking? Or my sensations, and where the mind has gone. And that happens so often, like it's so hard to be mindful even for a second, right? And we are like, the mind is wandering here and there, jumping all around. So it
Yes,
requires practice.
absolutely. Like you mentioned, the monkey mind. Sometimes my mind does become a monkey. It's just jumping from tree to tree, trying to, search something. Sometimes it will catch a fruit, and sometimes it's like for no outcome. It just wanders around. I would like to add something like my imagination, as you said, like is thinking same as mindfulness. Is that right?
Is thinking the same as thoughts? That was what I had asked.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if this can be relatable. I just want to say, like, if you imagine your brain to be your mind or brain to be a railway station, suppose, and then there are tracks, and these tracks can be considered as the mindfulness tracks, and there are lots of trains running. Those are the thoughts. And so thinking, maybe this is the train of your own, which you want to board. That is the train you want to catch. So that is the thinking train you want to get on. So that is how I imagined it.
Okay. Right. Ashwini, you want to say something?
Yeah, I could. I just remembered that we used to be given a rubber band too, and if we felt that we were wearing off, I'm trying to cook, so that's why I put my hand down. Yeah, so when we are wearing off, we could give ourselves a gentle nudge by pulling a rubber band a little, and it goes twang and gives you a little hurtful stimulus, but not too much. Yeah, we used to use that as a cue for coming back to the moment if needed.
Right. Right. Although I don't know how useful that was, because that would really anchor you to subconsciously anchor you in thinking that if I am mindful, then maybe I'll be hit by that. But I don't know how useful
No,
it was.
you have to use it if you want to and if you need to. And counselors
Okay.
also suggest that, in fact. In fact, they suggested far more than I can't remember whether it was the mindfulness person or the psychologist who suggested that. But yeah, it's a common therapy gimmick which is used, that you can use a rubber band to pull yourself back into the present moment. You can also give yourself
Right.
reminders, but
Uh-huh.
like mental reminders. But yeah, rubber band is also a therapy gimmick. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. Srilata, you want to say something?
Yeah, I would like to relate to that. As she's saying, maybe it is important to involve a physical body in terms of being mindful. So when rubber band is hitting you, and maybe you're lost somewhere, and suddenly you became aware that, oh no, I got hurt or something like that. And even when you are lost in thoughts, and someone comes and pinches you or pushes you, and you will
Uh-huh.
realize, oh, where was I lost? Oh my God, I was gone away from where I am right now. Sometimes you get lost in your own thoughts,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. When
Yeah.
I started.
Actually, it's two things.
Sorry, Ashwini, we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, actually, it's two things. It is a catching yourself, being aware that you are getting period, and secondly, sometimes even when we are aware, the thoughts are so painful that you cannot pull yourself back from it. So it's just providing yourself with an alternate stimulus on which you can focus and then bring yourself back into the moment.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yes, yes, totally. I remember when I started meditating, and I would be mindful for a second, and then for 15 minutes, my mind has wandered somewhere. So, one thing I learned from there, the moment you start catching yourself more and more, like the lesser the time frame becomes in which your mind has wandered, that is a sign that you are making progress. That's a very good sign. So it's not that we become mindful 24/7 just like in a day. So, but the more we develop our capacity to catch ourselves, so the more mindful we are becoming.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Srilata, you said, like, you gave the example of the brain. So, I just wanted to ask everybody here that is is the mind the brain? I mean, are brain and mind the same things?
According to me, brain is the anatomical part, and mind is which is the consciousness part of it, which is both inside of the brain, and it is connected to the external consciousness, is what I understood.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's listen from others also. What do you guys think?
We can't pinpoint the location of the mind, right? But brain is an anatomical organ. We don't know whether the seat of consciousness is in the brain or brain stem or whatever. So mind is not an organ. Uh, it's a it's a thing. It's something that we are aware of, or it's an awareness, right?
Right. Right. Okay. Now, that is correct. That brain is a part of the body. It's an organ. It's an anatomical part, just like the heart, just like the other parts of the body. Mind is all across. Mind. Your feet is also your mind. Your all the parts of your body is your mind, and which is communicating with the outside environment. And when we grow in consciousness, when we come to this realization that how everything is interconnected, so the mind plays very important role in that, because you cannot actually bifurcate this is where the mind begins and this is where the mind ends. I mean, that's just another point to contemplate on. We'll not discuss that point. So now, as you guys mentioned, how can we be more mindful? And Srilata was saying that body, so it has to be connected to something in the body, and I personally feel the same. It has to be connected, because if it is an outer object, then it becomes more about focus, developing your concentration, developing that faculty of yours. But when it comes to becoming mindful, we have to observe that phenomena of change, and that change becomes experiential only if we observe the same within the framework of our own mind and our own body. So that develops mindfulness. So focusing on an external object can help in focus and concentration, but to be mindful, it is very much closely linked to our own body mind phenomena.
I wanted to ask one question. I've been listening to this conversation, and one question that comes up with listening to all the answers so far is a common term that many people have used is being present in the moment. Um, so the question that naturally comes is, can you name one thing that is not happening in the moment? Can you give me an example of at least one thing which is not happening in the current moment?
And there's nothing that's not happening. I think so many things are happening.
Hmm. Is there any example of anything which is not happening in the current moment, in the present moment? So anyone can attempt this question. Seema, Vidya, Srilata, Suresh, Soumya, Ronak, Kavita, Ashwini. Anybody would like to give me an example of what is not happening in the current moment?
Actually, I didn't follow your question.
The common statement that is made so far is being present in the current moment. Mindfulness is being present in the current moment.
Right.
So my question is
I
there an
want to
example
answer.
of anything, a thought or an event or anything that is not
Want to
happening in the
say,
current moment?
yeah. So what is not happening in the present moment is I'm not thinking about the future or the past. I'm just here in this meeting with all of you and sharing everything. So I think that is what present to me means.
But what if you were
To
thinking
me,
of the future? Would that be not happening in the current moment?
To me, I suppose it depends on your level of or circle of awareness. There may be things that may be happening outside my circle of awareness. That I mean, the sun is shining somewhere in the world. I am not aware of it, or it's not happening currently here. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. It all depends on, and there may be people who might be, able to visualize things or see things which are outside the finite circle of my five senses. Sorry, I'm again going somewhere weird. But yeah, it depends
No,
on one's own
my
level of
question is
awareness.
different, but my
Okay.
question is different from this.
Yeah, so you were
Um,
asking another question,
my
right?
my question is that um, is so when we use this term that being present in the moment. So I am asking that is there any moment which is not present moment? I mean, what else is there? I want to know an example of it. So, what is this present moment? Okay, I want to understand the phrase present moment. So, what's excluded from it? What is it that I will say will happen in the next moment or past moment or how do I access that? How do I access past moment or next moment? Um, what is
By paying
not there in the
attention,
present moment?
maybe I'm paying my attention in this present moment, and I'm not paying attention when I was saying with my example that I'm not thinking about the past or future, and in the
But the
present
thinking
moment,
is also
with,
happening in present moment only.
sorry,
The thinking about present or past is also happening in present moment only.
no, I was just trying to. I'll just come up with an example. Just doing a thinking. Wait.
That's okay. Yes, Srilata, you go ahead.
Um, I seriously didn't understand what you said, but what I understood from your question is like you're saying what is everything is happening, everything is present right now, everything is present. You can't say that nothing is happening at any point of time. Is that what you're saying?
I am not saying, I'm asking. So when we are saying that mindfulness means being present in the moment, then
Mhm.
what is excluded from it?
Being present in the moment. So, what
Hmm.
is being present?
Stress.
So,
There is no
you
stress in the
have to.
present moment. Sorry.
Hmm.
Okay.
Sorry? Uh, Sorry, Ashwini, we didn't get it.
I said there is no stress in the present moment because you're not thinking of past or future, and the stress is usually related to that. So in the present moment, when you are focusing or when you are in the present moment, that is stressless. Sometimes when I'm in very painful situations, every breath I let out, I think that is past and it's gone. It's past and it's gone. It's past, it's gone. And you are in the present moment and there is no stress here. Because it is really like that. You're breathing and that is the all that you're focused on. And there is no stress.
No, but I'll just give a practical scenario. So let's suppose I'm a stock market trader and I just made a like huge loss, and I am of course stressed because now I don't know what to do with that loss, and it's really huge. I am like totally messed up. I'm stressed.
Okay. It means when you're stressed,
Mhm.
you're not focused on the present moment. So you're stressing about what will happen.
No, I think,
Oh,
no, wait. Let's take a pause on this. No, that's not, wait a minute. Question is not that. Question is that, uh, let's assume that there are three moments. Let's imagine there are three moments. One moment we call past, one moment we call present, and one moment we call future. And these are three moments. I'm saying they are moments. So like they're three things we can actually go to. Just like we are in the present moment, it is also possible for us to go in the past moment, and it is also possible for us to go in the future moment. And I don't mean um, just in thoughts. I mean literally. I can go in past and I can go in future if there are these three moments. Right? So in that case, when I say mindfulness is being present in the present moment, being aware of the present moment, then that makes sense. But practically speaking, I cannot go in the past moment. I cannot go in the future moment. Maybe in thoughts, I can think about the past and I can think about the future, but that thinking is also happening now only. So, so then what is not there in now? So when I say being aware of the present, be present in the current moment, then doesn't that mean that I have to be present for everything that is happening in the current moment? What can I exclude? I can't say, okay, when I go to the future moment, I will attend this. When I go to past moment, I will attend this. So I can put those things aside. In the present moment, I will only be aware of these. But I can't do that because that's impossible for us as of now. Humans haven't developed that kind of technology as of now. So right now, what we have is just now. That's the only moment that we have now. And if everything is in now, and I say mindfulness means being in the present moment, being in the now, then being in the now means being in everything. Then where is the question of distraction?
Uh, Akarma, can I just try reframing what you
Mhm.
tried to say? So,
Sure.
are you trying to ask the question that is there any moment in existence other than the present moment? Is that what you were primarily trying
Hmm.
to ask?
Yeah, because when we use the language that being in the present moment, that language itself in some way could mean that as if I have any other option. I mean, what other options do I have? I cannot be not in the present moment. That's the only moment that we have. So, what does this phrase even mean? Being in the present moment. Like, where else we will be?
Our mind can drift into the past and future. That is the
But still,
whole
we will be
idea.
here only, in the now only, right? Even the thoughts of past and present are in now only.
Yeah, that is the main thing to remember, that the present moment is everything.
So, then what is the distraction? If mindfulness means being in the present moment, and in the present moment I am having thoughts of past or future, then where is the distraction?
Sorry, what did you say?
If mindfulness means being in the present moment, and present moment means I am currently having thoughts of the past or thoughts of the future, then what am I getting troubled by? What is the distraction? Why I qualify this, why I say that I'm not mindful?
Because I'm not in the moment. And I'm losing the
But
moment.
where will I be if I'm not in the moment? Where I will be?
Is it like
What else?
worried about the future and not enjoying the present moment, or always living in the
See,
past and not
don't
enjoying the present moment?
see. Even if I'm not enjoying, if I'm the question here is not about enjoying or stress or pain or anything. The question is not that. Mindfulness is not about that. Mindfulness is about awareness. If I'm aware that I'm not enjoying, I'm still mindful.
I actually get the question. So, what you're saying, sir, is an ideal situation. Theoretically, mindfulness is supposed to be, we are supposed to be in the present. Ideally, that is the condition. But
No, I'm
when it
saying that's
comes
the
to practice,
practical thing because we cannot
yes,
be in any other moment.
So
yes,
maybe
but not everyone.
maybe acceptance of
Uh,
the present moment. Sorry, I'm so sorry, Srilata. Please carry on.
That's okay. So ideally, that is what is supposed to happen. Practically, that is what we are supposed to follow. But our mind is not built like that. Nothing is perfect. So some situations or anything comes up in our life, and
Even that thought that our mind is not perfect and we're not built like that, even that awareness is mindfulness.
okay.
I'm saying any thought, if you're aware, if you have the awareness of any thought, if you have the awareness that I'm having stress, this is happening, that is happening, I'm getting this thought of the past, I'm getting this thought of the future. Any awareness, I'm not enjoying the present moment, I'm enjoying the present moment. Any thought that anything that you're aware of is mindfulness.
Yes, yes, I agree for that. So you're putting whatever, maybe you went into the past to backtrack what went wrong, what happened, what not. That is not going to
Yeah,
help
but
you.
you are
But
doing it in
still,
awareness. You are doing it in awareness.
yes,
You know you are doing it.
yes, yes, yes.
So it's
Yeah,
not
being
that you got
conscious.
carried away. It's like someone was saying that rubber thing, that something you need to pull you back. If something you need to pull you back, then you lost that awareness.
Mhm.
Even to use that rubber and pull you back requires that awareness, because someone can tell you a technique, but you will get so lost in all these things you will forget to even execute the technique also. Who will
That
pull
can
the rubber?
happen.
So they'll you get a rubber band, but who's going to pull it? If you know that you have to pull the rubber, if you are aware of the thoughts and if you are aware of the rubber, you're already mindful.
Maybe it is like putting a stop
To what?
to what was not useful anymore in your mindfulness. What was like, okay, I'm aware that I'm thinking about the past, I'm aware that I'm stressed, all this. You come to a conclusion, this is not helping. So you become aware. Now I have to pull the stop.
To me, I'm saying that being mindfulness doesn't require you to do anything. It just requires you to be aware, even aware of the things that you don't like or like.
So acceptance of how it is, whatever it is, just like it is.
Mhm. Mhm. But do we have to use these words? My question is that do we have to use these words, that acceptance or what thoughts are not useful? I mean, do we have to use any of these things? What does any of these things have to do with mindfulness? That's my question. Like, is it not enough that I'm aware? Even if
Definitely, it
I'm not
is
accepting, even
enough.
not acceptance, if I'm aware that I'm not accepting, isn't that still mindfulness?
Yeah, definitely it is. We don't need to like put it under quotes. It's, yeah, sure. It is mindfulness, whether I
So
accept
I'm
it.
being mindful that I'm getting triggered by this. I'm being mindful I'm getting
Yeah,
irritated by this. I'm
yeah.
not accepting this or I'm accepting this. All this, if I'm aware, isn't that enough? Like, do we have to do something, solve something, then only we will be mindful, or is this enough?
See, the first step of being mindfulness is this only, I guess. Then to to work out on the things, maybe, yeah, definitely then one need to follow some steps. But being mindful is this only, that you are aware what is uh,
What you do with that awareness is a different thing. We are not
yeah,
talking about that. What how you use that awareness to solve
yeah,
what problems you want to solve in your life or not want to solve problems in your life, that's a different thing altogether.
that's a different thing.
So I'm just putting this question that isn't that good enough if I'm just aware and I'm not doing it, even if I'm doing or not doing anything about it, would it only be um, I will only call it mindfulness if I'm able to concentrate on my breath, and if I'm not able to concentrate on my breath and I'm aware of that, is that still not mindfulness?
It is surely, because this is what it is now, that I'm being there in the present moment. Is this that I know what is happening, but I'm there. I'm being mindful about it. Like, I don't know if it's making any sense.
Hmm.
But
Lisa, you want to
if
say something?
you're, yes, so you said like I am able to breathe, then I'm aware of that. If I'm not able to breathe, I'm aware of that also. But when that happens, the physical body doesn't stay in the stillness or you know
So
constant
why
motion. It
mindfulness is about stillness? My question is that. So why are we linking all this to mindfulness? That is my question. Why are we linking stillness, no thoughts, acceptance? Why is all this linked to mindfulness? That is, I'm posting this question. I'm asking, why are they linked?
because it's just not the mind, right? It is connected to something. It is connected to a body.
Right.
It's not just out there. It's connected to our organs, our body. Everything in our body is aware. Everything in our body is mindful of what it is doing at that moment.
Mhm.
um, I hope I make sense.
You explained what you wanted to explain. What I'm still asking that. So what if I am not doing that? So what if I am not able to concentrate on the breathing? What if I am not able to concentrate on the prayer? What if I am
See, we
not able
can
to do
take
that meditation? So if someone tells me do this to become mindful and I'm not able to do that and I'm aware that I'm not able to do that, so then am I qualified or disqualified as being mindful? Will
no,
when
you're
I be
not
able to do
disqualified.
that, when I'll be able to do that, will then the only time when I'll get the medal that now you're mindful?
No, there is no one straight path to attain mindfulness. You have to use what
So the first
makes sense
question
for
comes,
you.
what is mindfulness? So what exactly are we attaining? So what do we define? So the maximum people over here define being present in the moment. That is what most people said. Now the words are coming, stillness, acceptance, all these words are now coming. So so then what exactly is the target here? So what is mindfulness then?
Okay, maybe at the first everyone went the textbook knowledge, and when we put into practical sense, we get our own meanings. Only when we ride the bicycle, we know how it is, readable. If you're just, reading the definitions on Google or anything, it will say something. But what it applicable to you, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so mindfulness is this only, na? If we are saying that it's in the present moment, so mindfulness is this also, that I know that I'm in the present moment doing the thinking this and that. So what I think a karma is saying, that why do we need a defined word for being mindfulness? So yeah, we all said
I'm
things
I'm saying
according
that
to,
I'm saying that if in the present moment I'm aware that I'm not still. Let's say
yeah,
I wanted to be still,
okay,
but then I become aware that I'm not still.
yeah, that's
Now,
also mindfulness.
is this mindfulness or not mindfulness? Because
It
was my
is, it
target
is.
that only when I become still, then I will become mindful, or
No,
becoming aware that I'm still not there, is that also mindful?
definitely
Because
it
it's
is.
happening in the moment only.
Yeah,
I'm not being
definitely
still;
it
it's
is.
still happening in the moment only, and I'm
Yeah,
aware of that.
yeah. So, like I said in my example, that I became mindful that yes, this is happening because yes, the person is around. I am seeing him, feeling sad, angry, everything. But what I became mindful was these are just things happening. But in the present moment, what I'm doing is I'm here, I'm happy, and so mindfulness was that also becoming aware what is happening, why I'm behaving in a certain way, right?
Hmm, hmm. Yeah, yeah. I am saying that do we need to label that? Do we need to label anything, or just becoming aware is enough? That's my question. Or
We
would
don't
it
need
be
to
on if
label it. We don't need to.
no, label it in the sense that label for our awareness is fine. So label it in the sense that, do I have to label it saying that until this keeps happening, I'm still not mindful. So until I can concentrate, or until I can have a no thought state, or until I can sit still in meditation, or until I can focus on my breath, or until I can do this practice that someone has told me, until I can eat food very mindfully. Someone told me take all the enjoy and taste everything, smell everything. I'm not able to do that. So if I'm not able to do that, and I can also observe that I'm not able to do that, is that still mindfulness, or it will be only mindfulness if when someone told me eat this, and when you'll be able to taste it, then only you'll be mindful. So which way is mindfulness?
So I guess each person will have their own definition, because each person is different from all are different individuals. Like, so we think differently. We have other our own perspective. So mindfulness is definitely different for each and every one of us. But the basic thing that I'm understanding from these conversations and you making us aware is this, that yes, the first thing about mindfulness is this, that it doesn't need any definition. It doesn't need to be defined, because yes, this entire moment and this entire conversation is coming to one boiling point, that just knowing that, oh, this is happening and this is that is also mindfulness. Whether I'm able to do it or not, that's a second step. So supposing if I know these are my problems, and this is what I have to do my work, but I'm aware about my problems, so I'm being mindful and taking care of them. That is a second step to me.
Hmm.
Hmm. One thing I wanted to add, Seema. So, when it comes to mindfulness, it's not different for everyone. It's not subjective. So,
Okay.
how situations can be subjective, um, perceptions can be subjective. Everything can be subjective. But this this is kind of common. In this can be generic for like literally all of us, like everyone, all humans.
Okay. Thank you for correcting.
Yeah. Sajal, you want to ask something?
Yeah, Namika, thanks. So I have a question that isn't it always that we are aware of, like, in case of problems or in case when we are not able to do something, isn't it always that we are aware? So does that mean that we are always mindful? We can definitely see, like, there are lots of stories that people tell about their not being able to concentrate or they're not being able to do certain things, and which is kind of a pattern that is something that remains consistent within them. So does that mean that they're always mindful?
I didn't get your question, Sajal. Can you please try reframing it?
I think I got that. I got this question. What she's saying. I think you just joined lately on the circle, or you were there
Yeah,
from the beginning.
and no, actually, I have joined later. So, like, what I've just asked was arisen
Yes, yes.
out
I
of what
got that.
Seema said. Yeah.
Huh, huh. Because we were talking about this thing that what is the difference between mindfulness and focus. So, so this thing that we're talking about, concentrating on something, focusing on something, is when our attention gets concentrated on one thing, and then we get too focused on that. So maybe we are aware of that thing. We are in super aware of about the details of that thing. Um, but that is not mindfulness because generally speaking, most people define mindfulness as being aware, being in the present moment. That is what most people said in different shape or forms, different words used, but majority of people gave similar kind of definition, that being in the present moment. I agree with that. So being in the present moment. Now, being in the present moment means being in everything. So there is absolutely nothing that is happening which is not happening in the now. Even the thoughts of past and thoughts of future are also happening now only. So if everything is happening now and I need to become aware of that, then yes, the first question perhaps arise, the mind would probably ask this question, that there are millions and billions of things that are happening in the present moment. The the birds are singing, there's light, there's sunlight, there's air, there's temperature, there's the feeling of your clothes on you, there's chit chatting happening outside, sound from a distance, so many things happening, your own thoughts and things that are happening from outside, someone talking to you, someone around you. How is it even possible? So we get distracted by this thought that it is an impossible thing to achieve. Although we use this word that being present, being in the present moment, but then we get overwhelmed by this thought that how is that even possible? Perhaps not possible. I don't know. Possible or not possible is not the question. The question is about expanded awareness. The question is that right now, if you're only aware of two things, can you expand your awareness to become aware of five things? Can you expand your awareness to become aware of 10 things at the same time? So the practice is always about expanding awareness. Mindfulness practice is always about keep expanding the awareness. Maybe we will never get there. Maybe we will never get to be aware of the millions of things that are happening in the present moment. But by becoming more and more aware of what is happening in the present moment, by expanding our awareness, using our five, six senses around, using them more effectively, more efficiently, if I can become more integrated and more aware of the environment, that is what the practice of mindfulness is about. So, focusing on one thing, concentrating my entire focus, my entire attention on one thing, when I become super aware of that, I might be losing out a lot of things that are happening around me. I might be too focused on I'm doing a project and I'm very much focused on all the things that I'm doing in that one. I'm not aware that what is happening with my family members around. How are they? And I'm eating food. I don't even know what the food tastes like. I'm watching TV. I don't even know what is going on the TV. I'm just looking at the screen. But there's so many thoughts going on in my mind, and neither I'm watching TV nor I'm enjoying food. Nothing is happening. I'm just fully focused on narrowed down my attention on one thing. That's not mindfulness. Does that answer your question, Sujit?
Yes, yes, Sagarma. That does make sense. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. The practice obviously is can be overwhelming to think that when we say become aware of become aware of everything, maybe we can't become aware of everything. So that could be a when Srilata was talking, that could be a theoretical thing to say. I can agree with that. That can be a theoretical or an ideal situation that I become aware of everything. Uh, like when they said that when Buddha attained enlightenment, he became aware of everything in that moment, past life, present, future life. Everything just became so clear and everything was accessible to him in that moment. So perhaps that is still achievable. It's not impossible. Someone has showed that they have done it. So maybe we can't do it. Maybe people we know around us, they can't do it. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. Someone has done it. And it's achievable, it's doable. Maybe not by everybody. That's not the point. So maybe we can't reach to that level, but can we become more and more aware in our day-to-day life? Can we become if when I in my day-to-day life as I'm living, I'm being driven by my patterns and my habits, and I don't even know the decision making I'm doing just happening on autopilot. Someone comes, I just respond in an autopilot way. I don't even pause and reflect back that should I respond like this or not, and I'm just running my life on autopilot, and I think I'm doing this. Can I start becoming aware of these things little by little? Even if I'm just sleepwalking whole day, then can I wake up and become aware of two things? Can I become aware of five things? Can I practice and do more of that? Now, the practice of breath meditation and all that, I'll bring something. Yes, Srilata, I'll come to you on that. So it seems going in the opposite direction, although it's not actually. I'll tell you why it's not and why it seems like going in the opposite direction. Because when someone tells you become mindful, they start to first start. They start by first concentrating to one thing. They'll say, focus on your breath, or just light up a diya and look at that light and sit in that. So why that is required? Why that is required is because before doing that, we are scattered. We are everywhere. We are a mess. So before you clean yourself, before you start to expand your awareness, first you come to the 0 point. So first, before becoming aware of two things, become aware of one thing first. So that's the practice. The practice is about bringing you together. All the scattered you uh, polarize you in one way. And once you become good at that, then expand your awareness. But what happens is we just stop there. That's the problem. We just stop there. We just stop at that meditation. We just stop at that Tratak meditation. We do the breath meditation. We do the mantra meditation. Whatever we just stop there. We just keep doing that for years, and we feel this is mindfulness. That was step one. So after that, you were supposed to now not only while focusing on your breath, also focus on your thoughts, also focus on everything else going around you. Expand your awareness. But we stopped at step one, and we thought this is it. I've achieved it. I'm now mindful. Yes, Srilata, go ahead.
Uh, I think maybe the solution is having as less distractions as possible to become more aware and try not to juggle more things at the same time. So your mindfulness is not scattered. Is that right?
Maybe you can listen to this recording once we upload this. I won't repeat it now, because yeah, it's already 8:30. Perhaps maybe listen to the recording again. Uh, Sajal, you want to say something?
Yes, Karma. So, like, as I was listening to you, I just thought ki, how much of thinking is involved in awareness. Like, as you mentioned, it's like we have to expand our awareness, and not even in just meditations, but also in the real life. So, like, how much of like would there would be a lot of thinking or less of thinking, or some in some places it is implied that there should not be any thinking if we have to be in presence. So that is something that is kind of confusing me. So can you help me provide clarity on that?
Uh, that is because you joined late. So I
Oh,
will
okay,
say
okay, okay,
you
okay. Yeah,
also
yeah.
listen to the recording. Yeah, because we covered this part.
Certainly. Sure.
Mm, mm,
Thanks.
No problem.
Before we wrap up, I use the
Srilata raised
word.
her hand again.
Okay, I'll just finish this.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
No problem. So it was just I just felt that I need to explain what equanimity means before we wrap up this call, because I used that word and I didn't explain what it really means. So and I also said that awareness is not complete awareness, wholesome awareness, unless his or her sister equanimity is walking around him. So what equanimity means? It means that there is no judgment, that there is no judgment for anything per se. There is no label for anything per se, that this is good, this is bad, or there is there's that space of, you know, just being aware. So what Akarma was trying to explain from different angles, I explain it from this angle of equanimity every time, that it is about being aware of everything that is happening, and being in that space of presence of that everything that is happening, and then um, uh, um, not holding on to, or by judgment, not clinging, neither clinging. There was another word that came which is very beautiful and related to this, not resistance. So we are neither clinging, not resisting any of it, and with all that passing things, everything that is arising and passing with it, we are aware of all of it, all of it. And all of it, we cannot be aware of all of it in the past or in the future. Of course, in the present moment, where else we can be aware of everything. So that's what being equanimous is. That so equanimity is not just the space, uh, it is the space of stillness, but that stillness does not mean that there won't be turbulent emotions, there won't be stress or frustration or even anger or even sadness, or you take it to whichever level of negative emotion you want to talk about, or to whichever higher level of positive emotion you talk about, any vibration you take it to, it can be, it's all of it, right? So stillness is not just joy. Stillness, equanimity, true equanimity means you're not impacted by the good or by the bad in a way where you're like gone. When whatever is arising, whatever it is, you're able to see it as it is. Somebody also used the word as it is. When you are able to see things as it is without becoming those things, without becoming your thoughts or emotions, or things happening around, or being carried away by it, that is stillness, that is presence, that is being aware, that is being mindful, that is all of it. So that is why I when I explain awareness, I always explain it with equanimity, because without equanimity, awareness is mere understanding, not experiential at all. So it has to make it experiential. You have to go through this process of being aware of, oh, my emotions, this happening right now, coming. Okay, I was right now happy, but I'm seeing that after 5 seconds, I'm not that happy, a little less happy. Or maybe I was sad, but after 5 seconds, I see I'm not that sad. So it's also observing things arising and passing away and being okay with that. So also being okay when I realize I'm not still and I'm not maybe joyful, or maybe even when I come to the point where I'm not aware and my mind is all over the place, and I say that my mind is all over the place, that is mindfulness, because you are equanimous, that you're not trying anything. There's no trying, there's no doing involved. So this is like the concept of wu wei, action non-action, or doing non-doing. So action is always going to be there. You cannot not do anything. You're always doing something. But your still point is right there. So even if you're not mindful, you just say that I am not mindful. But the moment you say that, you are mindful. So that's kind of paradoxical and very counterintuitive. But that's exactly how it is. Lita, you wanted to say something. I'm sorry, I went on for too long.
No, that's okay. I think I got it. But the thing is, like, if I start speaking, maybe the conversation will go long again. I will save it for future.
Okay. Okay. You can post it in the group,
Yeah.
of course, anytime.
No, actually, I wanted to understand, like, does it any external factors can affect our mindfulness? Like, yeah, being aware is fine, but what if there are too many distractions? It is easy to be in that stillness when you're in an environment where there is less of distractions. Like, you can just sit in a forest and not be distracted by anything, and that mindfulness will be there. What if you're in a market and there is too many distractions, too much going on? You can be mindful there also, but the intensity of it, doesn't it change?
And that's where the real test happens. Because in the forest, actually, everybody can be mindful. But can you be truly mindful when you are literally in the market or stuck in the traffic, or just maybe in the messiest situation in your life and you are mindful? Because mindful is not focus, mindful is awareness. Na? So all you have to be mindful is that I am in a messy situation and I have messy emotions and I have messy thoughts and I have like thoughts like which seem like shit, and I have those and I'm aware of it.
I just want to say one thing to Srilata, and you can probably think about it, Srilata. I think from this conversation, what I'm thinking is that you are holding this thought very tightly, and you are trying to understand mindfulness by evaluating it from stillness. So the question you need to ask is why so? That is why I asked you to listen to the recording again, because you continue to evaluate this from the point of stillness, from the point of disturbance, from the point of distraction. And for that reason, you are actually missing out on the conversation.
Yes, that's true. I need to listen it out once more. Maybe it will
But
make sense now.
even when you are listening again, if you continue to listen to the recording from this point of view, also still you will miss the point. So the only time you will
Okay.
be able to actually, so you don't have to agree with us. I'm not saying you have to agree with what we are saying. I'm only
No,
saying
it's
that
not about
in
that.
order
It's
in
not about
order
that.
to actually understand what we are saying, you have to park that thought aside for a minute, listen, and then you can pick that thought again later. So I'm not taking your concepts away from you. You can have them, but you will only be able to get this perspective what we are sharing with you if you can park that aside for that 1.5 hour recording. And after listening to the recording, you can pick it back again. So I don't mind that. But at least during that time, 1.5 hours, you just drop that. You just don't listen to this from the angle of distraction and stillness and all these that you are trying to understand this from there. You will not be able to. It don't matter how many times you listen to the recording, it will not come because we are not saying it. That is why I'm very clear because we are not saying it. So if you keep looking for that, you'll not find it in this conversation. So it will be just a waste of
Yes,
your time to keep looking for it because we are not saying it.
I agree. I'm just aware that I'm not able to catch the point. Maybe there is some resistance over there. Yes, I need to look into it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Ashwini, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that, add that, being mindful is like there are so many stimuli being thrown at us from all directions, irrespective of whatever our circle or level of awareness is. And yeah, to address that point of disturbances, to being mindful also, while equanimity is very necessary, in the sense it helps us to choose the stimuli that we want to respond to. Because if we get emotion, yeah, that is your question answer to the disturbance. I don't want to prolong it anymore, but being mindful also helps you choose the stimulus that you want to respond to. Does that make sense?
It makes sense if we are trying to solve something. So I was only just trying to make a point that to me mindfulness is about awareness. What I do with that awareness is a second thing. Mindfulness is not about doing something about solving a problem or anything. Mindfulness is only about awareness. How you use that
Yeah,
awareness,
I
what you
agree
want to do,
completely, Karma.
then
The thing
you
is,
if it so these are to me they are two different things, two different steps. So so mindfulness job is done. Mindfulness job was to make you aware and job done. Now what you do with that, that's not वो माइंडफुलनेस की सिरदर्दी नहीं है. माइंडफुलनेस का काम हो गया. उन्होंने बोला मेरा हो गया, मैंने बता
hmm.
दिया तुमको, मैंने दिखा दिया. अभी तुमने देख के क्या करना है वो तुम देखो.
Okay.
Okay. So should we wrap up?
Okay, cool. Then we will meet next probably Wednesday again. So in the weekend we have the workshop. We'll see you all guys on next Wednesday. Take care, all of you. We'll be connected in the group. Send us
Good night.
anything. Yeah. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank,
you. Thanks,
thank
guys.
you so
Thank
much.
you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.